Hey gang, in this video I want to talk about, do you need to redesign your website? And this is going to be a simple 10-point lead generation audit that I want you to go through with me side by side. So as you're watching this video, pop open your website and walk through it with me to really understand whether or not your website should be or needs to be redesigned to promote lead generation. And specifically, I'm going to kind of walk you through mortgage lead generation. Let's jump right into it. So make sure, again, pull up your website, walk through this with me point by point, and see how you do on this audit. So first and foremost, just your first impression and user experience. Now, oftentimes we get a little bit confused here and we think about this means that somehow we need to look unique or have something flashy, videos moving, parallax, or something that's sort of clever and innovative. But actually your first impression, specifically for the purpose of generating mortgage leads, needs to be less flash and more positioning and to the point. So here's what we're looking for. We want to make sure that as soon as you hit that home page or the landing page or the loan officer page, because all those are forms of landing pages and all of those could potentially be the first page that one of your visitors, hopefully eventually a mortgage lead, will actually land on. And what we want to see right off the bat within less than 5 seconds, just by glancing at the page, is what is your value proposition? What makes you a little bit different than all of the other mortgage companies? So oftentimes it's more about what you say in big bold print than it is what all the aesthetics are. And don't overwhelm the aesthetics. I also see a lot of websites where we've got some big image in there and you can't even actually read the text. So believe it or not, those first 3 to 5 words, which should be your positioning statement, that I do this for you, is going to be more important than all of the kind of pictures on that page, on that website or on that landing page. Those core first 3 to 5 words are really important. And oftentimes you have something unique, or potentially on a landing page, or maybe even on your homepage, based on the market, you may have some unique positioning. Like, hey, I help homeowners unlock the equity in their homes now that rates are starting to head down, or something like that, right? So again, something very specific and unique that they're not going to see on other websites that will potentially nail exactly what they're looking for. Also, of course, you want the basics of that first impression and user experience. You want it to look professional. You want it to function appropriately. You want your brand not to look like it was just kind of like thrown up there. We want a little bit of a brand identity and just basically looking professional. And then, of course, a piece of that professionalism more and more is everybody is actually going to be looking at it on the mobile phone. 80% plus of the leads that we generate for clients and for our own lead generation platform are actually, the form itself was filled out on a mobile phone. We know that specifically. So part of that professionalism is that website is lightning fast, loads super quick, images are there in a snap, and it looks great and is very functional and easy for them to fill out that form on a mobile phone. So first and foremost, that first impression and user experience, again, don't get over enamored with sort of the pictures and the glitz and the glamour. There's some very functional positioning, brand, and ease of use and performance things. That's the first impression that you need to nail down. Number 2, navigation and structure. You want to make sure that main navigation at the top is very clear and has drop downs very specifically in a couple of different areas. Most importantly, there should be a drop down for each loan program that you offer. In fact, I would use most of your primary navigation to segment those core product areas, right? To purchase, to refinance, home equity. If you're a hard money lender, maybe you want to have things like DSCR highlighted, or bridge loans and those sorts of things. So use as much of that primary navigation as possible for the actual loan programs. Then the other piece that could be useful, if you have a lot of loan officers, have a place for them to go and do a loan officer search. Even better, just in the search bar, allow the functionality, or make sure you have the functionality to just simply put their loan officer in there, because that find a loan officer feature is usually just for somebody that's lost some contact information and they can just use the search to find them, right? They're not going to be picking a loan officer on your website. So that primary navigation needs to give clear navigational targets and destinations to get to loan programs and scenarios that they're looking for, and potentially things like lead magnets or some information that they can download, particularly if they're first-time home buyers. So again, it takes a little bit of thought there, but focus most of your attention and your primary navigation real estate to the actual scenarios that visitor is potentially looking for and the problems that they need your website to solve. So again, looking for a particular loan program, a particular scenario, or they've lost their loan officer's contact information, want to go to the search box and type in the name and quickly find that contact information. Number 3, content quality and relevance. So the content itself that you're producing for your website, again, should be very loan program specific and scenario or use case specific. So that's all of your content, which that content could be used for SEO, it could be used for pay-per-click, it could be just used for referral-based traffic. Make it really easy for the borrower to find that information and narrow in on their particular borrowing scenario or need or the program that they're looking for. In this market, there's a variety of different types of borrowers that you're probably servicing. You might have savvy real estate investors that already know the loan program they're looking for. They just want to kind of see what your kind of structure is or your program and see if it fits their needs. First-time home buyers with the recent rate drop coming back into the market, they need to kind of figure out what it is to actually get a mortgage and buy a home for the first time. And then, of course, the refinance people are like, is it the right time? Is there something that I can use now and then maybe cash out refi later? So the home equity. So again, your content needs to be of quality and it needs to focus more on scenarios and loan programs specific. You don't need to write these big, ultimate guides to refinance and purchase and those sorts of things. The more you can niche down, the narrower you can focus, the more opportunities you're going to have to get that content found. Of course, also building content that can be shared out on social media, be given to your loan officers as they're emailing their client base and sort of re-engaging them because of the rate drop, giving them some resources where they can just pick up, instead of writing out a really long email, they can just pick up an article off your website of relevant content, something that's new, up to date on the current scenario and situation, and just drop it as a link for them to take a look and re-engage that audience. Can be really powerful. So do you have a place where you can publish in very quickly that type of content? Lead capture mechanisms. This is, again, one that I see most websites fall down on. So first of all, they don't have call to actions. They don't actually have buttons that are labeled purchase or refinance or get a rate quote or apply now. They simply just start sort of talking, right? They put a bunch of words on the page, but they don't actually put those call to action buttons. People click buttons. So make sure that you have clear and obvious buttons on where they can actually start that lead form and move into the lead funnel, the lead capture mechanisms. Those actual mechanisms should be what I call survey style forms. So again, keep this in mind, over and over again, I'm going to say this, they're filling it out on their mobile phone. They're sitting there in the evening on their mobile phone and they're like, hey, I wonder, and then they start kind of running through this. So what you want as a lead capture mechanism is simply ask them questions and let them select the options, and then just move through that all the way to the end till they can provide contact information, and boom, you've got your leads. You can take a look at NerdWallet, you can take a look at LendingTree, Zillow. Don't recreate the wheel. That's what those people are used to filling out, and they expect that experience, and you should replicate it. So make sure that you have lead capture mechanisms, and the precursor to getting to the lead capture is a button that clearly says what's going to happen. And then, of course, don't forget the thank you page. The thank you page is going to help you increase your contact rate on those leads. So the thank you page should be, I always like to call it a next steps page. Once they've submitted the form, let them know what's going to happen next. Hey, we're giving this to a loan officer. They're going to take a look. They're going to review your scenario. They're going to reach out to you in order to schedule a call. If you'd like to go ahead and schedule a call now, go ahead and hit this calendar link and schedule a time at your convenience. A lot of those submissions will actually schedule a time for you and put an appointment on your calendar. So don't forget that next steps page when we're thinking about the lead capture mechanism. Number 5, trust and credibility sections. There's all kinds of solutions that will pull in and aggregate reviews from wherever you have them. So it'll pull in and aggregate your Google reviews, your Zillow reviews, all the different various sites where people can give you reviews. You can simply use these solutions to aggregate them together. These tools are becoming more important because back in the day, we used to curate these reviews. You absolutely cannot do that anymore. You can't just show your best reviews. You need to aggregate them. So obviously, there's another video where we kind of talk about gathering reviews and how to do that in a good way. But regardless, you can aggregate those, and by putting those aggregated reviews on your site, you will immediately gain trust and credibility. The other thing that gains credibility is, again, back to that content. Having information and education and pages, actual density around the different loan programs and scenarios will also enhance your credibility. If you just have a website that just has a homepage and a contact page and maybe a loan officer page, that's not going to feel very good to them. They're not going to feel like you're a credible lender that has lots of programs and lots of options for them. So the depth of your site also creates credibility signals. Number 6, SEO optimization. This goes along with the content. This is kind of an advanced feature, but do you have a website platform that allows you to optimize for SEO? So allows you to put content on there and get that content in a position to rank and to have all of the features. You need titles and metas and all those sorts of things in order to get that content that you're investing in and ranking on Google. Number 7, analytics and tracking. Too many websites don't have any sort of Google Analytics attached. It is not hard to put that in place. If you need help, you can reach out to me and we can get that quickly for free on your website so you can see what the heck is going on. But it's super important. It's not worth having a website if you don't know if it's getting traffic, if there is leads sort of trying to move through the form. You need to have Google Analytics in place so that you can actually see if there's anything, any life there on your website. And if you do have Google Analytics, a firm like ours can quickly take a look at that and understand what we have to leverage and the opportunity for what you've already got existed. Because even if you've just got kind of a crappy website, it's sitting out there, the chances are your loan officers are doing a bunch of referral work. They're out in their communities. People are hearing about it. They're hearing about the brand. They're hearing about the loan officers. They're searching for them. You probably got a lot of traffic on your website. You just don't have the mechanisms to get it to generate a lead or to help that visitor turn into a lead. Google Analytics, getting that in place and taking a look at that traffic and what it's doing can tell us if that opportunity is there. And again, even with a crappy website, most of you are suffering a lack of mortgage leads just because, again, the website's not optimized for lead generation. CTAs, landing pages, good content, depth, credibility, trust, all those things are not there. All the things in this checklist are missing, are subpar. The analytics will help us kind of assess that and see if you've got opportunity there. You just need to do those couple little tweaks to get those leads pushing through. Integration and marketing tools. Again, you have probably a variety of things that you're using. You might use HomeBot, you might have Rebel IQ, you might have chat bots and stuff that you're using. You may be using some lead nurturing, personal finance type of thing. So you probably have all these little pieces and parts that you've bought from different providers to do different things. Again, something to nurture the leads, which is a personal finance tool. And then you've got something that helps facilitate chats and unified communication. And then you've got something that's a great form builder, or you've got something like Banking Bridge that pulls in rates, but you don't have any connective tissue to hold all those things together. And then of course, integrating all of that activity, once they move through the form or they make the phone call, that it actually immediately integrates seamlessly into your CRM and distributes to your loan officers. So integration with marketing tools, do you have that set up? Can your website even integrate all of those different tools that you've accumulated? We talked about this a little bit, but it bears restating. Number 9 is specific landing pages for loan programs, making sure that you are showing all of those visitors all of the different options they have for them, and potentially if they're looking for a specific type of lending option, they can see it. So making sure that you have landing pages for each and every loan program and specific to the loan programs, not just a landing page that says we have all these programs. You want a landing page for each and every loan program that you can support so that they can quickly see you have lots of options, and therefore it makes a lot of sense to have a conversation with you. And then number 10, do you have the ability to leverage all of the potential content that you would want to put on this website that would help you generate leads? Again, we've talked about landing pages, we've talked about loan officer pages, we've talked about actual blog articles, SEO articles, lead magnets, PDFs that they can download and they can take home and have a conversation with their spouse or their partner about the lending scenario, something they could take home and talk to their other investors inside of their real estate partnership. So making sure that you have a website that will facilitate that and help those visitors get the content that they need. So again, a quick 10-part checklist. Hopefully you went through with your website next to you as you watch this video. But if not, go through this step by step and look at your website and say, do I need to redesign my website, or do I need a different website platform? If you do, if you come to that conclusion, it doesn't have to be that expensive. You don't have to spend 30 grand for a custom website. Kaleidico offers the Velocity platform, which is a WordPress-based platform, $250 a month. After a year, you own it right down to the code, so that can be a compelling option that will satisfy all 10 of these and be implemented and incorporate your brand aesthetic, your logos, and all that inside of 2 weeks. You can have a brand new website that is optimized for lead generation. And like I said, if you've already got traffic there, it's just being frustrated by your lead generation experience on that website. Literally just flipping this out in the next 2 weeks for $250 a month, which is probably what you're paying for hosting on this crappy website that you have, can immediately 10x the number of leads that you're generating. So hopefully this helped. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate you giving it a like, subscribing, and we'll see you on the next video.